It's been a while since I did a just talking and drawing video, but here we go. We are starting with a bird. This will be like how to draw with grids, which is what this is in the background, and I put it on here. And then it will be colored in with charcoal, and we'll go over that while I'm doing it. This is not a final piece of paper that's right here. This is a newsprint, so it has a different texture, but it's fine. It will still show the job. Something about grids, as you can see here, this is a 4x5. All these are boxes. They're supposed to be like pretty much exact squares. So if you have like another sheet of paper and it's not rectangle, nothing, or like it's not even, and you draw this grid over it, like if you have a square sheet and you draw the same grid, it's gonna squish the image down. So it's gonna be a short cardinal. It's not gonna be a normal cardinal with good proportions. So you're gonna want to get this, you figure out how many squares it is, and then you can make it as big as you want, but make sure these squares are even and that they have the correct numbers. So like this has like A, B, C, D, E, 1, 2, 3, 4, so we'll label that. Alright. Now with drawing a grid, with a grid, this is a lot easier approach compared to what I usually do. I usually just flat out plain, I would draw this on a sheet. So I don't really care as much where it shows up or anything, because I'm weird like that and I make things harder for myself. But with this, you can just, I need to zoom this in a little bit. You can just draw each square individually and just make sure they match up until you have the full image. So I guess I should do that. See, it starts, I don't know if you can see this. I'm trying not to be in the way of the camera. But you see how it goes down right here. It doesn't go to the middle, it's a little less than the middle. And then that's one. And then you do another one. And it goes down a little bit. And then you go on to here. This one, it does have like an X on it, which you can use that to your advantage too, and just like use it to make it. I made my X very badly. Okay, use rulers a little bit if you're doing a grid, because they will very much help. As I don't use the ruler again. Okay. Oh man, I haven't drawn like this in years. Okay. And see, it was in here. So then you mark it like that. And yes, I messed up this beak a little bit. See that? And then it has a little edge. Curve the beak a little bit, because usually birds' beaks are not just straight lines like a triangle. They're kind of curved, and like it'll be curved on the inside too. By this picture, it has like a certain way it goes. Oh my gosh. See, you can do it like this, and it makes it a lot easier, because like, see this line that comes here? Where it intersects is where the eye is. Of course, I drew my eye a little funny, but it's fine. It's okay if it's not exact, because if you're drawing something, it's your artwork. It don't gotta be exact. But it is nice to have it a bit more proportional. I made this too big, but it goes in a little bit more. There we go. Fix that. And then, like, I don't know what else to say with this. See, like this, it goes right here. And see, so that I made that like way too far out. So then you can just make it go back. And then it looks a little bit better now. I say to do this in pencil. I don't know what your teacher or anything will be saying, but my teacher, if it's our beginning thing, it's okay to draw it in pencil, which makes that part a lot easier. Like, extremely better. So, you don't have to if you want, but that's how this drawing is going to be, because that's how I am, and it will make it a lot easier. But I would, if you want to just do it in that, maybe practice a little bit, because charcoal does not erase very well. Like, I do not have charcoal pencils, okay? I am using this stuff. So what I have are these two. This one's my light one that can be erased better, but normal charcoal is really hard to erase. Even pencil, it is hard to erase. So once it's on there, it's kind of on there. And so if you want it to be different, you're gonna have to do it before anything else. I'm just doing an outline of this claw. Okay. See, this branch goes up and then down. You don't have to put every single little dent in it yet. Like, if it helps, just do the more straight lines, of which would be a lot easier, especially if you're just starting with it. And I probably do a very odd direction of doing stuff, I feel like sometimes, but whatever way you kind of do it, if you end up with the same result, who cares? If it looks how you want it to, then again, who cares? And yes, I did not measure that, but that was me drawing again. And then with these little feathers here, as you can see in this, it like kind of goes, I put it out too far, but it does this, and then each one gets smaller. And it's going to be definitely something with shading from the other pictures I saw for this thing. So make sure you kind of get it. And this, on the back birds of a feather, on the backs of birds, their feathers, like from the side, you'll see more just straight ones, but you'll also see some of the ones that overlap, like this one, and like these, which I'm gonna make them sharper than they are in this, just because I like it a little bit sharper. If you guys ever saw my one video, the blue jay, yep, that one. Do I know what I'm doing? Kind of. So once you get this done, hopefully I'll get this done soon, then you can erase your grid, because, well, you can keep it, I guess, kind of, but you're not going to want it as dark as it is right now. Because at some point it's going to have to be erased, because it's not part of the picture that you were drawing. I feel like this bird still somehow ended up fat. If you see little things you want to change, go ahead and change it. I I've already spent like 2 hours drawing today or more, so I'm starting to get a little brain dead. I mean, his is really open compared to this. Alright, now that I have the bird, I can go into coloring the bird. I love this. I wrote down what I was saying. Move the phone, so hopefully this will work. Okay, I found some more pictures trying to figure this out. I'm still going to be using this. The first thing that I would think would be best is to kind of shade the feathers, like, or even just kind of slightly outline everything, because then at least it's all in charcoal. If your teacher is kind of mad about it, you can talk to me. So, as you can see, it will be a lot darker. I don't have a pencil, so yours will probably be even darker than this. So be careful, because if you make it too dark, it's not going to look as nice. I don't really have an option because I don't have charcoal pencils. Now, when you're starting to do this stuff though, you will notice if you put your hand on it, it's going to smear. Because I'm using this, it doesn't smear as bad. Well, it smears, but it smears away. So it's good to start on the opposite side of your dominant hand. I know there's some lefties out there, so I'm going to say that. Something to help with smearing, if you put a piece of paper under your hand, it will definitely help try to not smear while you're going across if you move your hand too much. And now, when you do this, you gotta know where your light source is coming from. I cannot tell where the light source is coming from in the picture I'm using, sadly, which is really weird. I think it's kind of coming from here, so it's coming from out. So your shadows are going to be like more on the sides and underneath than anywhere else. So like this branch, when you draw it out, you're going to shade the bottom of it a little bit. See? And with charcoal, you can smear it in, which again will be better on a actual finished piece paper. This is not meant for very good smearing, but it works for the purpose I'm using right now. Alright, we'll start with these feathers, because it's on this side. You're going to want to, of course, shade underneath. See how it's like, should be darker underneath the feathers. I will go over this in another charcoal in a sec. And then you can kind of dash it out a little bit. Remember where your lines are at. And like under here, you can kind of do it there too. Yep. It will be darker underneath the feathers. So, oh man, I'm gonna have to go to actual charcoal in a sec. But, like here, you see these different lines, they're supposed to be like kind of the feathers. So like underneath that line, you're gonna shade. Underneath this line, you're gonna shade. And then same for this, and even here, it's against that one. So you're gonna want to shade there too. Oh my gosh, I hate this. Okay, I'm gonna use actual charcoal now, because, yeah. So you can see it a little bit better too. Hopefully. Should be much easier using a pencil rather than a little chunk like I'm using, or even, I don't know. I like to use this as a blending stick. I don't know if that's correct, but it works for me. Remember, you can always go darker, so don't go like as dark as you think it might be. Go a little bit lighter than that. That's why I like to just kind of do it as lightly as possible. This one is definitely having an outline because I want an outline and stuff. Behind this little crick here is also darker compared to like the entire bird as a whole. Saying that, when you're outlining the other parts of it, you can just do it lighter compared to where it's darker. Because where it's darker, you're going to want to make it darker. Like, how else are you going to be doing that? But past that, it's kind of your own thing. Shade under the lines because the light's coming from above. Also depends on how you do this, I guess, but I'm wondering if I'll get called out on this charcoal technique that I like to use. And yes, it does smear together no matter what you kind of try. That's why after you do all this, we'll go over it again with a little bit extra detail to try to add a little extra bit to it. The reason I'm blowing on it is because I want the dust off, because that's less likely to smear if I blow it off. And it also takes away the grainy look while I'm looking at it. Now we're gonna go in with this. I think I'm gonna make my branch darker so that I can see the difference. So like, see, make the bottom a lot darker. And using this as a blender. This is not a blender. This is a lighter charcoal. And then be careful once you get near these. Because I'm doing this part because that is how I saw the sheet. It's the dark areas. It's this part, and then up here will also be dark. And how cardinals are, they have a, like, it's black here, and it goes up, and then kind of out a little bit. Like, they have a little mask. And then the beak, of course, you're going to want to keep as light as possible. So you're going to want to be very light on it, just kind of outline it and kind of blend it in a little bit, and then put a little shadow under the beak on both parts. Which I will show. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Let's fix that. Okay. Alright. And also, just because it's down here, that means that it's going to be darker, because it's down low. It's even under a branch. So it's going to be darker. So don't worry if it gets, like, it should be dark. Try not too dark, I guess, still, but it's fine. Cardinals are red, so that means that they are kind of a darker color when you turn it to black and white. If you need help finding tones of stuff, especially with charcoal, my teacher taught me a trick. You get your phone out. Don't do this if you're in class and you're not supposed to be on your phone, but you can get your phone out, take a picture of what you're drawing, and go into filters and turn it to black and white. I of course can do this because I have no phone restrictions. But if you're doing this at a high school or something, probably ask the teacher first. Because they might yell at you. I don't know. I don't like how these feathers turned out, but you can erase a little bit of it. As you can see here, charcoal does not erase very well. Like I said before. I'm going to finish up this branch a little bit because I want it out of the way. I did not put as many bumps in it as it might have, but it's what I chose to do. Okay. Remember, you can ask questions in the comments or even on Discord. Of course, Discord's a little easier to get my attention, like usual. With this head, I will say, cardinals' heads are spiky. They're not just straight things. That's also, their tops are kind of darker, but not just dark on the top, but like dark in here and stuff. So you're gonna want to make this part darker, of which I'll do with normal charcoal. But if you're not using like this, if you're using a pencil, just do it very lightly first, and then when you go back over on this part, you can make this darker while making that darker. Gotta look at my picture of a cardinal. Crap. You can see it, right? Ooh, that looks very dark on the screen. Did not mean for that to happen. Cardinals, certain ones have different looks actually, but we're not gonna ignore that. And we're just gonna say it's like this. They have a pointed thing right here. I'm guessing that's what that line's for a little bit. And then this line, so it's like black. It's also black underneath. Okay. It looks kind of silly, but it's good. The eye will be black, but remember, you still got to be able to see it. So I will outline it really dark, but then you can make the inside a little lighter or put highlights on it so you can see it, so you know there's an eyeball there. Or you could just make it black and make it like a little lighter spot, like right here or something, so you kind of know, hey, there's a eyeball there. Now again with this, just like lightly outline it. When you outline it, you can like be very careful to do this because it can mess up really easy. And then like something I didn't go over is you can also hatch it. Like, I can't do it well with this because this is very soft charcoal, but it is something you can do to help make it a little better. Okay, we're gonna go back down here with the little paws. Okay, I'm gonna use them. I said paws. I meant like claws. They're like claws. You can also just outline these kind of dark because you do want people to see them. Just be careful that you don't smear it too badly. Done that before, where you just accidentally smeared it and then it just does not look that good. Make sure you cover all of it in charcoal so that you could, of course, say, hey, yo, I still did this in charcoal, even though I maybe drew it in pencil. I think it actually wants this line to kind of go out here a little bit, but that's fine. And then this belly part, because the sun's coming from like up here somewhere, wherever we are. You can't see my hand. It's like up here, away, up, facing towards it. You're going to want to shade the underbelly. And you got to make it look like feathers a little bit. So you're going to have to smear it, and then I don't know how to do this very well. I do not like that. I don't understand how it wants the belly shaded. Get yourself a nice smooth thing and make some feathers, I guess. See, you can just put little dillops in it. Oh man, I didn't mean to go outside the line. But then make it less as you're going up, or do it lighter. I can't really do it lighter with this. And then you can kind of blend it, hopefully. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm just gonna say it's that. And further up you go, you just have less of them. Yeah. Shade this, shade on the inside of like where the claws would be, so that where it would be facing up, so the bottoms and stuff can be darker too. Oh man, that ended up slightly okay. You can shade the under of that, and then because I made the entire bird kind of. You can like kind of blend it. Don't blend it too much, I guess. And then you can go over it lightly. I'm actually kind of liking this. It's not the best bird, but it is definitely a bird, and you can tell it's a bird. I hate that noise. When you blur it a little bit though, it's gonna get much darker. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna look at the picture again. Okay, so this part of course will be lighter because the feathers are darker, like the wing feathers and the tail feathers, but just make sure you still make it kind of dark because it's still red. It's not white or anything like that. It's still a dark red. Well, a light red, not dark, because this is darker. Let my brain work out what it's thinking. But you can just like continuously kind of go over it and like dab it a little bit. And then like here, where we had that line, it needs a little shading, but it's not the black part. So it's not going to need as much. And then I'm just going to make this like fully black right here, like alright, see, so you can even see the eye how I did it. You just kind of make a circle within it and let there be like a highlight because it's kind of black, like all the way around. So if you leave the highlight there, it'll kind of show what's going on. You can make a very thin outline of this again. Trying to make it more visible. And then you can make it fade. just hit a little dark, but that's fine. You can kind of dab it. I don't know how I feel about my cardinal, but he's cute. Right. And then just, I don't know, you can add a little extra outline like this. Extra shade there, because that's his back. Shade the underbelly a bit more, maybe. Remember not to make it like complete straight line. He has a curve of a belly, so make sure it's visible. Yeah, that's what I ended up with. I don't think it looks that bad. You can shade a bit more here, but look at that. And then you can draw the line again. See, when you want those very detailed parts though, you're gonna have to go back over it, because charcoal smears so badly. It is very annoying, I know. You're just gonna have to go over the lines again. And just make sure it's good. Make it a little darker around here so you can see the claws. Well, I hope that was helpful. Got any questions, go in my Discord or in the comments, I guess.